Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for tuning in to what might just be the most seismic, ground-shaking, landscape-altering day in the modern history of the National Basketball Association. We are currently standing at the precipice of an absolute paradigm shift, a monumental decision that could fundamentally rewrite the record books, completely redefine historical legacies, and entirely alter the balance of power in the fiercely competitive Western Conference and the entire NBA at large. If you thought this offseason was going to be a quiet one, if you mistakenly believed that the dust had settled, the major moves were done, and the league was comfortably moving into a predictable, sleepy rhythm ahead of training camp, you were absolutely, unequivocally dead wrong. Grab your seats, lock in, and turn up the volume, because the king, LeBron James, is officially on the move. That's right. The rumors are no longer just faint whispers in the wind. They are loud, they are deafening, and they are pointing directly toward the Bay Area. LeBron James has officially left the Los Angeles Lakers. Let that reality wash over you for a second. The purple and gold era of LeBron James has concluded, and as he meticulously weighs his final options for what will undeniably be the last chapter of his storied, mythical career, one team has aggressively emerged from the pack with a pitch so compelling, so absolutely crazy, and so audacious that it might just become a reality. We are talking about the Golden State Warriors, and we are talking about a relentless, undeniable recruiting campaign spearheaded by none other than his former arch-nemesis turned close confidant, Draymond Green. This is a scenario that feels like a glitch in the simulation, a wild fantasy drafted up in an NBA 2K franchise mode, but is playing out right before our very eyes in the real world. The Golden State Warriors, the franchise that LeBron James won an absolute war with in 4 consecutive NBA Finals. The team that historically blocked his path to multiple championship rings. The very team that he orchestrated the greatest comeback in NBA Finals history against back in 2016, is now on the verge of acquiring him. Now, in the twilight of his career, as the 2026 to 2027 season looms on the horizon, LeBron is seriously, heavily considering joining forces with Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, and head coach Steve Kerr for one last glorious, unprecedented ride. And why is this happening? Because Draymond Green, the emotional heartbeat and the tactical soul of the Warriors, refused to let the opportunity slip by without swinging for the fences. Draymond recently spent significant time with LeBron, and he didn't just casually mention the idea over a glass of wine. No, he laid out a comprehensive, strategic vision. He pitched the ultimate basketball utopia, a chance to combine the greatest basketball IQ in the history of the game with the greatest shooter the game has ever seen. It is a free agency decision that has the entire basketball world holding its collective breath, waiting for the smoke to clear and the crown to officially touch down in San Francisco. But while the media spotlight is intensely glaring on the Bay Area and LeBron's impending, earth-shattering decision, there is a massive, structural shockwave echoing down the coast in Southern California. The Los Angeles Lakers are suddenly, for the first time in nearly a decade, stepping onto the hardwood without number 23 leading the charge. It is a definitive end of a legendary era in Hollywood, but the Lakers front office is certainly not sitting around licking their wounds or feeling sorry for themselves. The Lakers are aggressively pivoting, ushering in a completely new era centered around a transcendent megastar they brought in to carry the torch, Luka Doncic. They have been incredibly busy reloading their roster to surround Luka and Austin Reeves with a brand new, highly capable supporting cast. We are talking about a completely revamped squad. The Lakers have brought in a wave of new recruits, from drafting a highly touted prospect in Cameron Carr, to executing a blockbuster sign-and trade for defensive anchor Walker Kessler, to securing gritty, hard-nosed veterans and dynamic scorers like Colin Sexton, Quentin Grimes, and ironically enough, former Warrior Kevin Looney. The Lakers are building a new identity, one that no longer relies on the superhero heroics of an aging LeBron James, but rather focuses on youth, elite floor spacing, and defensive tenacity around the undeniable generational brilliance of Luka Doncic. Let's dive deep, and I mean incredibly deep, into the anatomy of Draymond Green's pitch to LeBron James. Draymond is arguably the greatest defensive player of his generation, but he might just go down as the most effective player recruiter in front office history. We all vividly remember the infamous parking lot phone call he made to Kevin Durant after the devastating 2016 NBA Finals loss. That single phone call shifted the balance of power in the NBA for years and created a dynasty in Oakland that felt completely invincible. Now, Draymond is at it again. He stated openly on his podcast that he spent time with LeBron and realized he would be crazy not to throw his pitch out there. He literally said, "We need to chop it up." Draymond understands the stakes. He told LeBron that his pitch would make his brain work a little bit, and that even if LeBron had a decision in mind, this pitch would make him think twice. Think about the sheer basketball fit. Some critics, perhaps the purists, might argue that LeBron James and the Golden State Warriors are a mismatch in terms of offensive pace and systemic philosophy. The Warriors have historically thrived on constant motion, off-ball screens, split action, and chaotic, beautiful ball movement engineered by Steve Kerr. LeBron James, for the vast majority of his unparalleled career, has been a heliocentric player. He is the sun, and the offense orbits entirely around him. But as LeBron has advanced into his late 30s and now past 40 years old, he has shown an incredible willingness and a masterful ability to play off the ball, to operate out of the mid-post, and to pick his spots with surgical, economical precision. Now, I want you to close your eyes and imagine LeBron James operating in the high post in Steve Kerr's system. Imagine him holding the basketball at the top of the key while Stephen Curry, the most terrifying off-ball player in human history, sprints around a gauntlet of baseline screens. The defensive attention that Curry commands the moment he crosses half-court is unmatched in the history of the sport. Entire defensive schemes are built on the singular premise of not letting Steph shoot. Simultaneously, the defensive attention that LeBron commands on a downhill drive is equally unmatched. If you put LeBron James in a direct pick-and-roll with Stephen Curry, you have just created an unsolvable, broken math problem for opposing defenses. If you switch the screen, you give LeBron a smaller guard to back down, physically dominate, and score on at will. If you decide to blitz Curry and trap him to get the ball out of his hands, you are giving the greatest passing forward in the history of basketball, LeBron James, a 4-on-3 advantage rolling to the rim. It is basketball nirvana. It is an offensive cheat code that would leave defensive coordinators having nightmares. Furthermore, consider the defensive side of the floor. The Warriors have always heavily relied on switchability, anticipation, and supreme defensive intelligence. Having LeBron James and Draymond Green on the floor at the same time gives you two of the smartest help defenders and vocal communicators the game has ever seen. They would literally be calling out the opponent's offensive sets before the opposing point guard even crosses a half-court line. The collective basketball IQ of a team featuring LeBron, Steph, and Draymond is simply off the charts. Draymond knows exactly what he is doing here. He knows that the Warriors' championship window is currently just a sliver, propped open solely by the enduring, miraculous brilliance of Stephen Curry. Adding LeBron James kicks that window wide open, shatters a glass, and puts the entire league on high alert. This is a pitch about legacy, about finality, and about creating a spectacle the sports world has never witnessed. This is about closing the book on their careers not as rivals, but as the ultimate conquerors of the sport. But for every action in the NBA, there is an equal and opposite reaction. While the Warriors and their fan base are dreaming of super teams and parade routes, the Los Angeles Lakers are waking up to a harsh, sobering new reality. LeBron James has left the building. The king has abdicated the throne in Los Angeles. For a player like Austin Reeves, this is a massive psychological shift. Reeves came into this league as an undrafted rookie, fought tooth and nail for a roster spot, and blossomed into a near $25 million a year player while playing directly alongside LeBron. Reeves spoke to the media recently, and you could hear the weight of the moment, the sheer disbelief in his voice. He candidly admitted that he hasn't honestly processed it yet. He said, and I quote, "Starting a season without him on the team is going to be different for me. That's kind of all I've ever known." Think about that. Austin Reeves grew up in the NBA under the massive, protective wing of LeBron James. He learned how to read the game, how to manage the clock, and how to perform under the brightest lights imaginable because LeBron was always there, drawing the defense, making the perfect cross-court pass, and absorbing all the media pressure. Now, Reeves has to take another massive developmental leap. He has to prove that his elite efficiency and production were not merely a byproduct of the LeBron James gravitational effect, but the result of his own undeniable talent as a foundational piece. Fortunately for Reeves and for the Lakers organization as a whole, the front office has not been paralyzed by LeBron's departure. In fact, they have been brilliantly, aggressively proactive. They knew this day was inevitably coming, and they laid the groundwork when they pulled off the absolute heist to bring Luka Doncic to Southern California. The Lakers are now Luka's team. Full stop. The entire offensive ecosystem will run through the Slovenian maestro. And when you build around a generational talent like Luka Doncic, you need very specific, tailored pieces. You need elite perimeter shooters to heavily punish defenses for sending double teams. You need athletic rim runners who can catch lobs out of the pick and roll. And crucially, you need hard-nosed, relentless point-of-attack defenders to cover for Luka on the perimeter. The Lakers front office looked at this checklist, evaluated their assets, and went to work with ruthless efficiency this offseason. Let's start with the blockbuster sign-and trade that completely changes the geometry of the Lakers' interior defense. They went out and acquired Walker Kessler from the Utah Jazz. This is a massive, franchise-altering addition. Walker Kessler is one of the absolute premier rim protectors in the National Basketball Association. He is a shot-blocking savant with incredible timing and verticality. Last season, the Lakers occasionally struggled with interior defense when they were dragged to perimeter. Kessler changes the entire scouting report. He is a 7'2" behemoth who wants nothing more than to anchor the paint, aggressively deter drives, and swallow up every rebound in his vicinity. He recently told the press that he is ready to literally run through a brick wall for the Lakers because they believe in him enough to pay the steep price to acquire him. When you pair Luka Doncic's offensive wizardry with a legitimate, elite rim protector like Kessler rolling to the basket on offense and anchoring the paint on defense, you constructed a foundation, a legitimate, terrifying contender. But the Lakers front office didn't stop there. They recognized that they desperately needed an injection of youth, raw athleticism, and an absolute dog mentality in their backcourt rotation. Enter Colin Sexton. The young bull is now officially in purple and gold. Colin Sexton is a walking bucket. He is fearless. He is incredibly aggressive, and he puts relentless, exhausting pressure on the rim. In a lineup where Luka is carefully orchestrating the half-court offense, having a secondary ball handler and explosive scorer like Sexton, who can come in, instantly break down his defender off the dribble, and get to free throw line is an invaluable luxury. Sexton is going to feast on secondary matchups and opposing bench units. And right alongside him, they brought in Quentin Grimes. Grimes is the quintessential modern 3-and-D wing that every single championship contending team deeply covets. He is the guy who will willingly take the toughest defensive assignment on the perimeter every single night, endlessly chasing around the opposing team's best guard through a maze of screens. And on the other end of the floor, he will stand patiently in the corner and knock down the wide-open threes that Luka Doncic routinely generates in his sleep. And let's absolutely not forget the draft. The Lakers are extremely high on their first-round pick, Cameron Carr. Carr just had his introductory press conference, and the buzz around this kid in the Lakers facility is palpable. He is a smooth 6'5" wing with tremendous upside, a beautiful, fluid shooting stroke, and the kind of defensive length that scouts absolutely drool over. He fits perfectly into the timeline of this new Lakers core. Because the Lakers have reloaded so well, Carr doesn't have to come in and be the savior on day one. He gets the luxury to develop under the tutelage of head coach J.J. Redick, learn the complex nuances of the professional game, and provide vital depth on the wing alongside Jared Vanderbilt and Dalton Knecht. The Lakers have even added Kevin Looney, which is the ultimate irony, bringing over the respected veteran from the Warriors to provide championship-level experience, unbelievable offensive rebounding, and crucial locker room stability. When you look at this newly constructed roster, Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, Colin Sexton, Walker Kessler, Jared Vanderbilt, Quentin Grimes, Dalton Knecht, and Kevin Looney, you realize very quickly that the Lakers are not entering a depressing rebuild. They have executed a brilliant, masterful on-the-fly retooling. They are significantly younger. They are much deeper. They are vastly improved offensively, and they have handed the keys to the franchise to one of the top 3 offensive players on the entire planet. As we look at the broader landscape of the NBA, the stark contrast between these two historic, marquee franchises right now is absolutely fascinating. The Golden State Warriors are desperately trying to turn back the hands of time. They are trying to orchestrate the ultimate, unprecedented veteran super team, heavily leveraging deep personal relationships, historical nostalgia, and sheer basketball brilliance to squeeze one last, glorious championship out an aging, legendary core. Draymond Green is betting the entire house that his impassioned pitch to LeBron James will be enough to tip the scales, theoretically combining the two defining players of this generation into one unstoppable, mythical offensive force. It is a massive gamble, but if it pays off, it secures their legacy forever. Meanwhile, down south, the Los Angeles Lakers have forcefully and decisively turned the page. They have graciously accepted the departure of a living legend and have boldly stepped into the future. They have surrounded their new franchise cornerstone with the exact type of youth, defensive tenacity, and complementary skill sets required to win in the modern NBA. It is a brilliant pivot by the Lakers brass, ensuring that the lights remain incredibly bright in Los Angeles even without LeBron James in the building. It is truly a fascinating tale of two completely different organizational philosophies. It is the twilight of the basketball gods in San Francisco versus the dawn of a brand new, terrifying empire in Los Angeles. If LeBron James actually puts pen to paper, signs a contract, and officially joins the Golden State Warriors, it will literally break the internet. It will entirely dominate every single sports talk show, every podcast, every blog, and every barbershop conversation on the planet for the next 12 months. The sheer, undeniable spectacle of LeBron James and Stephen Curry wearing the exact same uniform, running the exact same offensive sets, and chasing a championship together is almost too magnificent to comprehend. It would be the greatest, most highly scrutinized traveling circus in the history of professional sports, a must-watch television event every single night they step onto the hardwood. But as you get caught up in the absolute frenzy of LeBron to the Bay, do not make the fatal mistake of overlooking the Los Angeles Lakers. They might have lost the biggest name in the history of the sport, but they might have actually built a better, more dangerous, and more balanced basketball team in the process. A motivated Luka Doncic paired with a true, elite rim protector in Walker Kessler, surrounded by elite spacing from Grimes and Reeves, and supplemented by the aggressive, downhill scoring punch of Colin Sexton, is a deeply terrifying prospect for the rest of the Western Conference as we wrap up this extensive deep dive. I want to hear from you. Head down to the comment section right now and let your voice be heard. Do you think Draymond Green's crazy pitch is actually going to work? Will we see LeBron James in a Golden State Warriors jersey, throwing alley-oops to Jonathan Kuminga and running pick and rolls with Steph Curry? Or is this all just smoke and mirrors? And on the other side of the coin, how dangerous are these new-look Los Angeles Lakers? Did they do enough to surround Luka Doncic with a championship-caliber supporting cast? Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your predictions, and let's get a debate going. This is shaping up to be one of the most consequential periods in recent NBA history. The balance of power is shifting beneath our feet, and the decisions made in the coming days will echo throughout the league for years to come. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications so you never miss an update, and absolutely smash that like button if you enjoyed this comprehensive breakdown. We will be tracking this LeBron James saga, the Warriors' pursuit, and the Lakers' new era every single step of the way. Until next time, stay tuned, stay passionate about the game, and I will see you all in the next video.